Hi guys, you're welcome back to Android Material Design Basics. We're still on lists and cards. In this particular module, we'll be talking about the Recyclerview, which is a more pluggable version of the ListView that supports different layout types and provides performance improvements. It's slightly complicated, but I'll be explaining to you in details. We'll be extending on the source code that we actually use in integrating the CardView, and I'll be showing you how to go about this. Firstly, in the layout folder, we need to create our first XML, which is the Recyclerview activity XML, which is actually going to handle the widget Recyclerview. So let's quickly do that. New layout file, layout resource file. We call it Recyclerview activity. That's fine. Recyclerview activity. Click on OK. It's actually going to set the structure. We'll go back to the list, so we'll be able to customize it in the way we feel. Just expand this a little bit. It's a linear layout with the rotation vertical, width and height, match parent. That's cool. I'll be adding something here quickly. I'll be adding the Android padding to the 4 sides, which will be 16 dp. That's fine. Right inside the linear layout, we're going to have the Android support version 7 rather, dot widget dot Recyclerview over there. Click on my enter. Now I'm going to set the layout width and height and assign an ID to this. First of all, let's go over the Android layout height, which is required. Match parent we have for the Android layout width, which is equals to match parent as well. From here, we assign an ID, Android ID equals @ concatenate ID RV. So from here, we close out. We have it this way. So from here, you're going to have the Recyclerview. If you notice from the rendering library, which is the design, you get to see an item listed in a list form. So that's okay. We'll move further from here. From here, we move to creating the Java classes. Just like a ListView, a Recyclerview needs an adapter to access its data. But before we create an adapter, we're going to create the data that we can work with. What about we'll be creating a simple class to represent a person and then write a method to initialize a list of persons objects. We're creating a class inside our Java folder, the sub package or the package lists and cards. A Java class, we'll name it person. Click OK. This is just a simple class, and we're going to have a couple of fields. First field is a name, which is string data type. Second is the age, also string data type. while the third is the photo ID. Get to look at the naming conventions I used, which is an integer data type. I'm going to have the constructor to pass in some parameters, which we're going to first of all have the string name, comma, string age, integer. Don't need a comma after the string. Just need specify this way. Integer photo ID. Curly braces. Now we're going to call on this keyword, which is for this particular class. We're going to assign the name to the value of the parameters name. Same thing goes for the age. Age. This photo ID. ID. That's fine. So these are you passing the values from the three parameters: the name, age, photo ID, and you're going to pass it into the created fields. So that's just what that depicts. From here, we'll be creating a Recyclerview activity, and in this Recyclerview activity, we're going to actually need a layout manager to manage the positioning of its item. Or we could define our own layout manager by extending the Recyclerview layout manager class. However, in most cases, you could simply use one of the predefined layout manager subclasses, like the linear layout manager, the grid layout manager, the staggered grid layout manager. Well, we'll be using the linear layout manager. This layout manager subclass will by default make our Recyclerview look like a list view. So let's quickly go about that. I'll be creating a Recyclerview activity over here. It's a Java class called Recyclerview activity. Click on OK. This Recyclerview activity extends activity. Right inside it, you're going to import the Android app activity by clicking App, Alt, Enter. You have it imported, and I'm going to declare the list generic object, which is the person, and I have the person's object from it. Let's first of all declare private list is a private variable, generic person class. Pass it in there. I will create value from it called persons. Close that up. So we're going to also import the Java utility list. Enter, we'll import that, and we'll also declare. Let me give a space here so it's won't like. That's nice. A private Recyclerview with RV. So we have to import the Android support version 7 widget Recyclerview. Click Alt Enter. We have that imported. Now, right inside uh, the Recyclerview activity, we need to create the onCreate method. So we actually need protected void onCreate, which we have the bundle, save instance state, which we actually call on the super onCreate. So let's import the Android OS bundle, call on the super onCreate, we'll pass in the saved instance state. That's fine. This is how you create, you issue out your onCreate method. Afterwards, we're going to set the content. Still right there, they're not out of the onCreate method. Now we're going to set the content view to the layout. To the layout, our layout. Recyclerview activity created. After this, we're going to pass the RV, which is the Recyclerview object. We're going to cast it on to Recyclerview, and we'll find the view by ID. So we are initializing this particular view. We're going to pass the ID, which is r.id.rv. That's cool. Close it out right there. That's fine. So this is how we actually get to initialize some of the aspects. Now we're going to use a linear layout manager, which is a subclass of the layout manager, to actually make our Recyclerview look like a list view. So quickly be doing that. We call on the linear layout manager class. Linear layout manager. It's from the Android support version 7 widget. Create an object from it called LLM, and we instantiate with a new keyword. It's a new linear layout manager. We're passing this for this particular class. We have it that way. Now we're going to cast it on. We're going to call the RV, which is the Recyclerview object created, and we're going to set the layout manager to the object created, LLM. It's fine. After that, we also call the Recyclerview to set as fixed size. No, not this. It's the as fixed size. Fixed size. This particular method, the as fixed size, is if you're sure that the size of the Recyclerview won't be changing, that's when you add this, because you're going to have it as a fixed size. Are we going to give it a boolean of true? Afterwards, we're going to be passing some methods right in here. The first method is the Initialize Data, and the second method is the Initialize Adapter. Let's pass in the Initialize Data, which we're going to create. Initialize data. So outside the onCreate method, we're going to create a method, private void initialize data. Outside outside. So in this initialize data, we first of all call the persons. We assign it to the new array list, which is the persons the new array list. Now this persons going to construct the array by adding firstly the names to be new persons, instantiating the person class, and we're going to pass in some values here. First person name, which is actually Charles Stone. Passing the age. I think I gave it let me quickly look at my CardView. Give it 27 years. Old. After that, we call the picture, which is for the photo ID, from the drawable. Charles. Close that out. Same thing goes, because we're going to actually have up to 3. Let's copy this so that we'll just type in the same thing. This time I'll quickly be importing some pictures, just 2 of it, to the drawable. So let me quickly go to my picture to have them copied in. I think I'll have to copy in Rita and Clara. Let me actually pick them, copy them out, come over to the drawable. I still have to rename it anyway, but let me paste it in to the drawable, Rita and Clara. So that's fine. Let me just change this to Clara Tisa. So we'll be having it as Clara. I'll still change that anyway. Let's call her 22 years. Let's copy these out. Third one should be Rita Taylor. Rita Taylor. I think she's 21 years, which will be Rita. So I'll be renaming this file, which is refactor. Rename. First one is Clara. Refactor it. Second one is Rita. Refactor it. That's cool. Can you say we actually initialize our data, which can actually be from anywhere. It can be from a JSON object, it can be from a JSON string right on the server, but we actually have it in our persons uh, class, which you've actually called on the age, the name, and the photo ID, which we first of all created over here, and the name, age, and photo ID. So that's just what that depicts. And we're going to actually pass in another method called private void initialize adapter. But we'll make this empty, and we have to actually pass it inside the onCreate method called initialize adapter. But we'll make it empty for now, after we might have created the adapter class and do some tweak. From here, I'll be moving to the rest, where we need to have our items XML. No, so we won't forget that. Let's create a new layout resource file called item.xml. It's fine. So we're actually going to be creating for each item. We need the layout. Let me take away this. It's a linear layout with a 100 rotation, vertical. The layout with an height match parent. While the height should be wrap content, let's just wrap content. Wrap content. That's fine. And we're going to assign an ID to this linear layout called Android ID, which will equals to assign concatenate with the ID, call it CV. Now that's set. Afterwards, inside this linear layout, we're going to have a relative layout. So let me quickly create that relative layout with the layout width of match parent and the layout height of wrap content. That's cool. We have a padding also right there, Android 16 dp. That's fine. Right inside the relative layout, bring that down, we're going to have an image view where the Android width, wrap content, the height, wrap content. We're going to assign an ID to this image view, which Android ID, of course. What's it gonna be? Plus the ID / person underscore pattern. That's set appropriately. After the ID, we're going to create the layout align parent left, align parent top, and the margin right. So just to set the kind of styling to this particular image. The first one is the Android layout align parent left. We have it right there, which is going to be true. Second, Android layout align parent tab, which is also going to be true. Last but not least, Android layout margin, this time margin right, which is going to 16 dp. That's cool. We'll be having two text views, just like the way we had for the card view. That's what we'll be doing here. The first text view, we init wrap contents. We assign an ID. It's very important to assign IDs because you actually need them right in the Java classes to make reference to them, to use them in the course of the programming. This time it's the age or person's name first. Name, we have forgotten the codes. Problem with that. Problem. It's fine. Person name. We have the layout to write off. Let's quickly do that quickly. Layout. To write off, which is going to be to the right of words, the person photo. So we're going to use the ID to depict that, to make that work. Or person's photo. As is over there. We're going to align the parent tab, Android. Layout. Align parent tab. And we're going to set the text size to this. Text size 30 sp. It's fine. We have the last text view. Instead of repeating all this, let's copy. We get to just edit. Let me give it here. Let me give a breathing space over here to scroll down. What's gonna be there? Wrap content. The ID changes to age. Align to write off the person photo. Now we're going to have the layout below. So it's actually going to sit below of which particular ID plus ID we're going to have called a person photo. So we do away with the text size. Actually, you need a text size here. That's cool. That's how we get to create. Let's take away some white space. Linear layout, relative layout. Afterwards, it's actually going to sit in the card view. So we'll still need to make amends here. Instead of calling the linear layout, we're actually going to use the card view. So let me put that downwards here. We're actually going to change this to a card view. We're going to use the Android support version 7 widget call the card. So we have to look if it's closed appropriately. That's cool. Call the card view. So we actually wrap it around the card view. So each item will be in a card layout. That's just what that depicts. So that's why you have to create the item XML to actually hold that for us. From here, we're going to be creating an adapter. To create an adapter that a Recyclerview can use, you must extend the Recyclerview adapter. This adapter follows the ViewOrder design pattern, which means that you have to define a custom class that extends the Recyclerview ViewOrder. This pattern minimizes the number of calls to the costly find view by ID method. So we've actually created a CardView that represents a person. Now we're going to reuse that layout inside the constructor, ViewOrder, to initialize the views and get them to the Recyclerview of each items. So I'll be creating an adapter class over here, whereby we'll be calling class RV adapter. Just watch how I bind the Recyclerview to its ViewOrder. So I would like you to pay attentively to this particular analysis. Well, first of all, we're going to extend the Recyclerview adapter, passing the generic RV, which is the class name adapter. That's cool. And we call the person ViewOrder. That's fine. So we need to import the under support version 7 widget Recyclerview. Alt enter. Got it imported. Never mind for that. Now we need to still create something here quickly, which is going to be the public static class for the ViewOrder. It's going to be static. Person ViewOrder, which extends Recyclerview ViewOrder. So that's cool. The RV adapter extends the Recyclerview, passing the RV adapter, calling the person ViewOrder. Now we have to quickly create a class that extends the Recyclerview ViewOrder. Never mind, still going to get that sorted out, and we're good to go. So we're actually on the right path, and now we need to add we have to pass in some values inside the person ViewOrder. So I'll quickly do that. Let's call the first is the CardView. Call it CV. The text view. Call it person name. Model it up. I'd like you to type along. That's how you get acclimatized with the structure. This is actually the basic. That's why I'm taking my time to type along, so that I won't just be reading out the code. The image view is the last but not the least over here. Field we need. I'll call the person photo. Close that out here. That's cool. Now we need the person ViewOrder constructor. Let's quickly create that. We're going to create the view item view right inside, which is actually going to be the parameter of the view class from the Android view. So we're going to import that, enter, and have it right sorted out. Person view order. So let's continue. We're going to call on super class of this particular view, or we pass in item view as its parameter. Close that out there. Now we need to initialize the fields created. First is the CV. We pass it to the CardView and call its appropriate ID or CardView. Item view find by ID. So we find view by ID, pass in R, call on the ID, which is where it's CV. Pass that into it quickly. We go for the person name. Equals to, this time is a text view. Item view find view by ID, that ID person name. Do the same for age. Text view as well. Item find view by ID, that ID that person's age. The person photo equals to is going to be an image view. Item view find view by ID, ID person photo. That's okay. We'll have it set right there. Now we're going to move some steps further, whereby we're going to actually be passing the list persons array. We're actually going to be doing that, whereby after creating the constructor, we have the list persons array and also the RV adapter, which is actually going to be sitting right there. So let's quickly create the list persons array, which is actually going to be out of the person view order over here. Let's create this list. We call the generic person. That's what we're using right there, and give it the persons. So calling the persons person class. So let's import the list. Alt enter. We have it imported. Now we're going to have the RV adapter too. So we're going to actually pass the list persons into this adapter. So let's quickly do that. RV adapter class. We're going to passing the list, person, object of persons, that's fine. Do it this way. So let's initialize these persons. That's for this class. Pass it as persons. I'll set right there. These persons as persons. That's fine. Afterwards, we'll be creating some couple of methods. Right there, we're going to be creating a few methods, and after this, we're going to actually have the abstract method that will must override. So we're going to have the get item count method. This should return the number of items present in the data. As our data is in the form of a list, we only need to call the size method on the list object. So we're going to have the get item count, whereby we need to override, use the override to override super class public integer get item count. Call on this. Now we need to return person's size. This way. Next, we override the onCreateViewOrder method. As its name suggests, this method is called when the custom ViewOrder needs to be initialized. We're going to specify the layout that each item of the Recyclerview should use. This is actually done by inflating the layouts using the layout inflator, passing the output to the constructor of the custom view order. So we're going to have a person view order, which is actually going to call on the onCreateViewOrder, passing in the view group. So we can quickly do that. Person view order. Do that quickly right here. So it's going to be above the get item count. We're going to use the @annotation override. Actually going to override the parent view order. So we have the public person view order. That's what we're using. What about we call on it on create view order. Have the set right. Have the view group. So create a view group object. Have integer. I'll pass in I. So let's import the view group from the Android view. Alt enter. Oops. Not that. We have the view group imported appropriately. Have a curly braces. We got to row. Now we're going to call a view. Set the object as v. We have the layout inflator, which is actually from where? From the context. So we have to set that. view group, get context, now outside this we're going to inflate, which has two parameters, the resources and the view group, and we're going to call the layout in here, which is the item XML I created earlier. The view group itself, and we have to pass in the boolean of false right there. So we close out the view group. Now we have to call our person ViewOrder. We instantiate to create an object from it with a new keyword, new person ViewOrder, passing V as this parameter. So that's going to be an object or a value passed in to this particular ViewOrder. Now we're going to return this object. Very important. So we have our person ViewOrder set. After this, we're going to override the unbind ViewOrder to specify the content of each item of the Recyclerview. This method is very similar to the getView method of a ListView adapter. Right here, we're going to set the value of the name, age, photo fields of the CardView. So let's quickly create a method called unbind ViewOrder. It's actually going to sit below. Assign, right, we have public void unbind ViewOrder. This time passing the person ViewOrder. We have the person ViewOrder object. Second parameter be an integer I. Call the brace of the try set. So let's set it appropriately. Of the person ViewOrder, call on the person name, set text, person name, set text. We're going to pass in persons, and we get its ID, which is the I, which is what the name. Same thing we'll be doing for the age. So let me just copy this out. This time will be person age, person get I, age. This time photo. As the unbind ViewOrder itself. Person photo. Now we set image resources, not set text. Image resource. So we get the words, the photo ID. That's okay. That's fine. We're still going to do something quickly here, which is actually going to be the unattached recycler view. We need to attach the recycler view right there, so we just don't leave that out. So let's quickly come over here. We have the at override. We have our public. It's a void that returns no value, and attached to recycler view. Now we need to pass recycler view. We'll create an object from that. Recycler view. Call the super class on attached recycler view. What's gonna be the parameter of the recycler view object? That's cool. Just this way. That's the way it goes. That's fine. And finally, we'll need to override the unattached to recycler view method. So for now, we can simply use the superclass implementation of this method, as you know. So we're actually going to, which we've actually done, an attached recycler view. We've done that, and we'll set that appropriately. That was what I did earlier. After that, we have the adapter that is ready, and we need to add this to the activity. That's to initialize and use the adapter by calling the adapter's constructor and the recycler view set the adapter method. So I need to pass in something into the recycler view quickly. Go back to the recycler view. Inside the initialize adapter, I need to pass in the RV adapter, create adapter as the object, initialize with the new adapter, new RV adapter. It's going to be the parameter inside the RV adapter persons. That's fine. After that, call on the RV, which is actually the recycler view. We set the adapter right inside there and pass in the adapter as its parameters. That's fine. Our code is ready, clean. A recap. First of all, we created a CardView earlier, where we actually showed how to create a CardView. Afterwards, we have a person class where we have our string for the name, age, photo ID, and we have a constructor that passing those values. We actually imported two drawable, which is Clara and Rita. So we just extend the list, so it's just not going to be one. So that's our data. Afterwards, we created a recycler view activity, that actually sets the recycler view and also call on the list person. We call the recycler view activity in the content, and we initialize the data, whereby we set the array list to add up the list of Charles Stone, Charles Tis, Clara Tissa, and Rita Taylor. These are all, and call on its appropriate age and its drawable. We initialize the adapter, where we have the RV adapter, which actually is doing the binding, where we have the ViewOrder that actually holds on to each list. And see it over here, where we created the person ViewOrder that extends the recycler view. We still have the details, the person name, age. Now we call on the CardView as well, because all this will be listed on a card layout. Now we have the list persons generic. We call on the RV adapter to these persons, and we override some things here. The unattached to recycler view, the person ViewOrder, and also the unbind view order based on the details as the person's name, age, and the photo ID. You also have the get item count over here as well. So from here, we'll look at the manifest. We'll do some tweak in the manifest. What about we need to trigger the launcher? The launcher should be changed from CardView to Recyclerview. Duplicate. That's the launcher with changes, and we need to just lock in the activity, which is Android activity rather. Android name equals, which is actually going to be the CardView activity. We have the set right there, so we're good to go. So I'll be launching out my emulator. After I manifest, everything is fine, ready to go. Let's go back to Recyclerview. So I'll be launching out my emulator as I've said earlier, and I'll be testing this application right there. So I'll pause it right there now so that I'll be able to put up the emulator, and after doing that, I'll be right back to show you how the application sits on the device. Our application, it has been built successfully. Let's get to look at it right in our emulator using the Nexus API. Can we get to see this? We have our list right there in the card layout. Charles Stone, Clara Teaser, Rita Taylor. Can you see the Recyclerview actually make it come out appropriately in the list item? And if you should notice a box-like card layout wrapped around this particular layout. So this is a basic of how to incorporate a Recyclerview inside a card layout. Thank you very much for hanging out with me throughout this session, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Have a wonderful time. Bye bye. I'll be uploading the source code to my GitHub account so you can pick it up for there and use it in the course of your application. Thank you one more time. Have a good day.